Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This video was supposed to be out on Christmas, but because it's so cold, the epoxy took a long time to dry. Hence why I'm in the new sweatshirt. Eat, sleep, woodwork, repeat. You can check it out, pmhcustomcreations.com. I hope everybody had a good Christmas and are enjoying their holidays. Let's jump into the video. I'm going to start by cutting up this piece of purple heart and then ripping it down so we get two halves. I think it's time for a new bandsaw blade. You could really see how purple that wood is. Now I'm going to go take this over to the planer. But it's too thin to be able to run through by itself, so I'm going to put it down on a board using double-sided tape. This is just going to hold everything in place. After I get the purple heart down, I'm going to put a piece of pine down so the blades have something to hit before they hit the purple heart. That way it reduces the chance of getting sniped. I'm also going to put down some hot glue just to make sure everything stays in place. Time to start sending it. Now I'm going to take everything, pop it off this board, flip them around, get them taped down again, and send it one more time, just so we know both sides are flat and both pieces are equal to each other. I mixed up some Purple Heart sawdust with some wood glue. That way we can fill any gaps, keep it looking nice and tight. And just smearing it around, yes, using my finger. And we're going to get this clamped up. Now, in order to make the roof look the way I want it to, I have to glue up some popsicle sticks in an alternating pattern. This is what it looks like. I think this should work as long as I'm able to find something to fit in the gaps. That way the UV resin doesn't stick to the popsicle sticks. If I had some silicone, I would make a mold. I'm going to mix up some yellow UV resin. And after figuring out to use the popsicle sticks in a vacuum seal bag, I'll let this cure under a UV light. I think I have to make about 4 of them. Now I'm going to cut up some black walnut. I need this to make some 4x4 posts, and then cut down some into 2x4s. Here I'm cutting the 4x4 posts. I'm going to cut 4 of them. I'm going to take a Dunkin' Donuts cup because it's about the circle I'm looking for. And I'm going to use my hand here and mark the inside ring. It's time to get these 4x4s and 2x4s put together. I'm going to set up a 2x4 on one side, 2x4 on the other side. That way I know it's square, and glue down one side, hit it with some activator. Now to do it again with the drips and the spritz. Using those big hands to knock everything over, I can tell this is going to be a fun project. And I broke it. Okay, now to glue. Now, using a couple of keychains, I'm going to take off the key rings off of the keychains to use the keychain. I'm going to cut off the ends of the threaded eyes. So I glued the keychains down onto the bench, and now I can use it as a swing. So now I have to get the chains glued in place. I think I'm going to try to use a magnet, but it's too strong and it keeps pulling the chain down. I'm going to have to come up with something else. So it turns out the best thing to use was this magnetic screwdriver. And I was able to hold it in place long enough to be able to get a couple of drops of CA glue. And then really get it glued down using some UV resin. I'm also going to use the UV resin to mount the inside 2x4. That way you don't see where the chain is from the inside. Now it's time to get the people sitting on the swing. Look at them sitting there, all swinging and smiling. Time for some UV resin, just so I can glue them in place. Now for the pieces of the roof, I'm going to put these together and then use some UV resin to glue the strips together. And now, it's resin time. Everything's dried. I wanted to make sure this didn't float, so I put some tape on the bottom of a spray can and it held everything down. So it's time to use a 2-liter bottle top. I think this will give it a nice shape once we do the second pour. And I'm just gonna seal up the edges with some UV resin so it doesn't leak out from the bottom. Now it's resin time again. Let's fill this up. Alright, so now I have to try to pop this thing out of the mold. And with a little persuasion, it still doesn't want to come out. So the next resort, hit it hard enough that it breaks the plastic, and we can pull this sucker free. Now it's time for the vice grip pliers so we can pop the top. Let's add some marks so we know where the center is so we can get this thing on the lathe. So it needs a little bit more. Make sure we get all these tool marks out. Let's get this tool rest out of the way. turned around and hit it with some 150 all the way to 320. Give it a little wet sand at 320. And now the finishing top coat. I'm going to alternate between adding a little bit of resin and hitting it with the torch just to keep bubbles out, and it helps the resin flow a little freely. So guys, before we get the finishing touches done, if you could head to the comment section, help me out. What did you like about the video? What did you think should have got sped up? That way next video I could work on the editing some more. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.